Hi, Chris here, and yes, vacuum cleaners. So 2 years ago, almost to the day, I started to use and reviewed the Roborock S5. It's a great robot vacuum cleaner, not those older gen ones that just bounce around all over the place and guess where they need to clean. This thing, just like the newer model I have right here, properly maps out rooms, and it has an application, it's connected up via wireless, and overall a very good vacuum, but the mopping function on this one has been a little bit disappointing, and really we haven't been using it. And this is where the S5 Max comes into play here. This was sent out to me free of charge, by the way, from a retailer in exchange for this review. That's why I'm reviewing it right now. No money's changed hands. All the opinions expressed here are 100% my own, and they are not approving this video. So the S5 Max, what it has is really a big improvement in the mopping performance. We get a larger water tank and also other little tweaks, as you'll see with the application. We've got certain mopping zones that we can set with the app. No-go zones, areas to mop, areas not to mop, and then other places that we can, of course, increase the suction. Overall, it is a nice improvement to the S5, as you'll see in this full review here from me. So we'll take a look at first at what you get within the box here. So we've got a protector. This is for your floors to stop any water damaging, for example, a wooden floor. You put this under the dock. And here we've got a quick user guide. Well, not actually a quick one because it's very chunky, but that goes over a lot of details there. And this is a guide here for the app to connect it. So you've got the network connectivity, which is really good. You need that for scheduling and more advanced controls, of course, selecting different zones. Here we have the mop, okay? So this doesn't actually have any water in it anymore like the first model, the S5 that I originally reviewed. Now these mops, of course, you pull them out, you wash them. We don't actually get a replacement either in the box, which we did with the first S5. So I guess they've cut down on their production costs a little bit. So EU charger cable there for the dock. Got the vacuum. Underneath there is nothing. And this is our dock. So like other vacuum robots, it will dock by itself here. The contact points are there for charging. It uses infrared to find out and get the exact place there. So you can see here it's having a couple of attempts. Once docked, it will take approximately 3.5 hours to fully charge if the battery is completely run down. So I'll very quickly go over the big difference here between the S5 and the S5 Max. So the Max is focused on mopping, okay? That's the big change here because we've got a much larger tank. This is 290 milliliters right here, the tank. So you simply unclip it, fill it full of water right here, clip that back in, and the old model that I have, the S5, the mopping's not that great. It can only mop just a little bit because, well, the tank is only 140 milliliters, this one, and you'll see that when you clip this in,
mopping module enabled,
that the vacuum, of course, will detect and know that the mopping module is now on there. So there is a motor inside here that's applying pressure to that mopping pad, and that's what controls it. Whereas the old one, it would just sort of drip out, and that was the way it was controlled there. So we've got the main brush right here. We have the side brush. They changed this a little bit, as you can see right now. It's now a 5-star rubber, and it's just a lot more efficient, they claim. This was the 3-star one there with the typical kind of brush, which you do have to change. Now, these brushes do eventually wear out, and I think I'm on my 4th or 5th one now. And of course, you can remove this just like the original. So this comes out, you're able to clean, get the hair out and whatnot. So we've got the charging contacts right here at the top. This is a 360-degree wheel, and then all the sensors along here, exactly the same as the original S5 model, and that's to stop it from falling down any stairs. So side by side, looking at the tops of these vacuums here, they are very, very similar. So we've got the 360-degree laser distance scanner there, and the front of it, of course, does use the slam, and there are sensors right here as well. So that's how it gets in and around furniture and knows exactly where it is with the laser. So this is the more intelligent form of robot vacuums. The old style ones that I absolutely hate, they just slam into everything and zigzag and go all over the place. This one, as you see, doesn't do any of that, and it's very efficient. So Roborock removed here the spot clean button, which I often used, was quite handy just to simply pick up the vacuum, place it down where it was dirty, hit the spot clean, and then it would do its job. Now, because of that new water tank on there, the dustbin capacity has been reduced from 480 milliliters to now 460 on the newer model right here. But it is still using this same filter, so very easy to remove this, and depending on how dirty your house is, of course, or the area that you're cleaning, you'll have to remove this probably after every clean, empty it right out. So the filter there, this is washable, just like the S5 model. Okay, so I'll quickly show you the application. Roborock, you get this from a Google Play Store or in the Apple Store. So here I have the vacuum currently working away cleaning. So this is our map. You can see exactly where it's been and how it maps everything out exactly. And it doesn't go back over itself normally. Only it does it when it crosses the room. You can see with that line. So right here, this is where the dock is, that little green icon there with the power logo. And you can see it's currently just down there in one of the rooms. So here you can send it to dock, you can pause it, and if you click on this right here, you've got map settings, so you can edit rooms. This is where you can configure to have certain areas where you don't want it to go and vacuum, or you don't want it to mop. Now the mopping settings as well, you can set that to how much water you want it to use. For example, in the kitchen, get it to use a lot more water just to help clean up those more dirty areas. So that is self-explanatory here. And this setting here that's on the bottom right-hand side, we've got the cleaning modes in general. So it's on balance by default. This is the vacuum power and also how much noise it will produce. Water level for mopping. And then again, the customized option there for just setting that per room, you can do that. And in the settings, so vacuum settings, won't go through all of this. It's self-explanatory. Carpet mode increases suction power when it detects carpet, which is very handy. We've got the voice here. Okay, so this is the normal kind of feedback you'll hear from it, and you can adjust the volume if it does annoy you.
Starting the cleanup. Paused. Finished cleaning.
You hear that so often that it does actually come a little bit annoying. So timer, this is actually where you add a schedule here to get it to clean every day if you wanted to do that. And we've got cleaning history here, so that's where you can see all the cleans it's done and how many hours it's been on. And maintenance, this is good too, to see if you need to change the filter, clean the sensors, or replace the brush. So I decided I would do a real-world test here in the dirtiest area of your house, which, if it's like mine, is the kitchen floor. And white tiles here, they show everything. So there looks to be some spillage here, some stains. Let's see if the mop can get rid of this. Okay, so it did a reasonable job, but it's not perfect. Some of those real stubborn spills, like I think coffee or something, hasn't quite come out. You can still see some of it right next to the fridge here, that mark there on the left of the screen. And the mop does now look a little bit dirty, so you can see it's clearly picked up quite a bit of dirt here from the messy kitchen floor. Alright, so let's take a look at just how this cleans. So it's like the S5 that it will not just be bouncing around randomly off the walls or anything. It plans out its path, it scans the room, scans the furniture, goes around everything quite well, and will give you 100% coverage. You can use the application, as I showed you, to actually see where it is and where it has cleaned. It does an excellent job of lifting up dust, pet fur, things like that. No real problem here. And then, of course, water mopping. This is the big change here, that we've now got a lot more pressure, I find, compared to the original S5 with the add-on mop, that it's doing a much better job. Now the results speak for itself when you take a look at the dustbin and empty it out. Depending on how large your house is, you have to do this perhaps every day or every second or third day. Well, based on my experience with the S5 that I've had now for almost 2 years, it's done a huge amount of cleanups and almost 500 hours without a single fault. And I know of 2 others that own these. Now this is not sponsored, by the way, and they've had 0 faults with theirs as well. So I believe that these are reliable vacuum cleaners. So let's recap here now. After me using this now for, this is the 3rd day, that I find that it is very, very similar, okay, to the original S5. But I like the advanced features we get with the application, okay? So we've got different zones we can set for suction power, areas you want to mop, areas you don't want to mop. For example, where my children are playing, they've got a lot of toys around, and maybe they've got some Lego things left out, I can set a no-go zone right there, so the vacuum won't even go near it. The main thing is first that you have to have the vacuum scan the room first, okay? Save the map, then you can set all of that up. This is something you can't do with this one because the app doesn't allow us to have a no-go zone. The mopping function, so much better. It's still not 100% perfect, okay? So if you spilled some coffee last night, it's dried there, and you'd expect this to be able to mop it all up so it's spotlessly clean. Think again. it'll do maybe get rid of 70% of it, but not quite 100% in my experience with this. So kitchens, you probably want to have it go over a couple more times. You can change, of course, the amount of water, the suction power there as well, and that is good. It'll automatically, if you set that in the settings too, when it's on carpet or mats, increase the suction performance too, just to lift out more, so that is good. Now there's one thing I don't like with the new model. Why did they do away with the spot clean button? It's on this one, very handy. So you've had someone spilt some cornflakes everywhere, push the spot clean, it'll clean it all up. Now we've got to go and get your mobile out, make sure it's connected up, which it normally would be, and then hit the spot clean. So that's a bit more of a hassle there. So we've got a slightly reduced dustbin capacity. So it's only 20 milliliters, which is basically nothing. You're not really gonna notice it. And if you've got a lot of pets, animals and things like that, then you'll have to empty the dustbin every day. There's also the brushes. You need to manually replace those when they're worn out, but the app does tell you that. It's got a maintenance guide within it, which is really good. Also has firmware updates. Navigation is great. However, just like all the robot vacuum cleaners out there, it can get stuck on a toy or, for example, a rug or something, or USB cables is one of the worst ones. You accidentally left out your mobile phone cable, it will eat it and get stuck, send you a notification, let you know that, hey, I'm stuck. But overall, great vacuum cleaner. It's a good step up over the S5, the S5 Max here. If you have tiled floors like I do pretty much everywhere, then this is absolutely perfect for it. But if you mostly have carpets, then you still got the original model. I think is still perfectly fine for that. So thank you so much for watching this different review here. Yes, vacuum cleaners. I may do a couple more if I get the opportunity. If someone reaches out to me and says, hey, we'll send you this vacuum if you post a review on it, I may agree to it if this video does well, that is, and you guys are interested in that. And perhaps a follow-up 2 years later of the S5 if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.